Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the birth chart for Olympic gold medalist Noah Lyles. And there's no birth time for him. He's a sun in Cancer. Looks like moon in Capricorn. In this chart, could be a moon in Sagittarius. We don't know. But it doesn't matter because what I want to focus on in this chart are the aspects, particularly the aspects. Not so much just basic astrology like Sun and Cancer, although we can look into that. We can look into some of that as well. And I want to focus on the comment he made about mental health, depression, dealing with depression, anxiety, etc. And his chart is littered with mental stuff. Let's just call it that, mental stuff. First of all, he has the South Node in Pisces and the North Node in Virgo. So we can see that with that angle with the South Node and North Node, where he's been, where he's headed. These are the nodes of the moon. These are very personal aspects of a person, and we can see with those nodes in Pisces and Virgo, he is definitely dealing with mental stuff. With those nodes there in Pisces and Virgo, and we can look a little further. The rulers of these nodes, and the ruler of Virgo, of course, is Mercury. We can see Mercury is here, and it's conjunct Venus. And we can look at the aspects of Mercury, and we see there's aspects to Saturn, even though it is the trine aspect. An aspect between Saturn and Mercury can make the thoughts, the experiences of a person that person keeps on their mind as being very heavy. Saturn, and oftentimes Saturn aspects can indicate experiences of depression. We can look at that Mercury and some of the other aspects. We see it's also making a sextile to Mars, and the Mars is making an opposition to Saturn. So his Mercury, even though it is conjunct Venus, it is making aspects to the two of the more malefic planets, Saturn and Mars. And these aspects aren't necessarily, I think the picture that he's portraying is a lot worse than, could be, from what I saw, a lot worse than it is, because these are, you see the sextile between Mercury and Mars, and the trine to that Saturn and Aries. This can also indicate a person who's has a competitive mind. Again, an athlete, a successful athlete. So by no means are these aspects absolutely terrible. As I said, I think he's painting a picture of a person who's very cerebral, and maybe can lead to some overthinking, Virgo, and that could lead to some low-level depression and anxiety. Seeing him travel the world, etc., I'm not sure how much anxiety or depression a person can have being a world-class runner, Olympic runner. So I just want to say that as well. Oftentimes, these the media does portray the picture of anxiety, depression is not really the real reality of people who have hardcore anxiety and depression. So looking a little further, he has Jupiter aspecting Mercury as well, in an opposition there. And there's a loose aspect between Mercury and Uranus as well. So definitely a very cerebral person, an overthinker, potential overthinker. And we can look at the South Node, the ruler Neptune, and see Neptune is conjunct Uranus. It's making aspects to Jupiter, Saturn, an exact opposition to the sun, and you can see that his sun is in the Pisces decan as well, of Cancer. It's potentially aspecting the moon, and it's aspecting Chiron and Venus and the nodes. It's making a trine to the nodes. So I know I'm not really going to get into what all this means. I just wanted to point out that a person like this, who has these thoughts, who has these experiences, will have aspects to Mercury and Neptune, and definitely could have the nodes in Pisces and Virgo, or planets in Pisces and Virgo. And one more thing I want to point out about him is the sextile aspect. He has almost an exact sextile between Mercury and Mars, and the sextile aspect is 51 degrees, and it can indicate a decision in the life, a fork in the road of which way to go. And we can see when Pluto is transiting his moon, from the little research that I did, he switched sports he switched from, I forget what it was, he switched from something to track and field. And that we can see that if we probably looked a little deeper in the chart, we can see the sextile being activated between Mercury and Mars, Mars being a planet of athletics and competition and sports, and Mercury being the mind, and we see the sextile there. The fork in the road would have been, which way do I go? Do I go to this sport, or do I go to the track and field? And he made the decision. He had that fork in the road, and he made the decision to go to track and field, and that would be an indication of that sextile aspect being activated. Now, the sextile can also, in my experience, can also create a lot of anxiety because there's often that ongoing feeling of a fork in the road in the life. And of course, at times like when that moon was activated by Pluto or transited by Pluto, there can be a major crossroads in the life that the person will have to will have to make a big decision about. I've seen this aspect, as I said, I have it in my chart. I've seen it in other people's aspects in my life, where I've seen decisions being made on partners, on life partners. So I just want to point out the sextile aspect, or at least introduce the sextile aspect in Noah Lyles' chart. So much more can be said about this chart. I'm going to leave it there for now. Hope you enjoy this mini chart reading for Noah Lyles.